Am I the asshole for giving my granddaughter a DNA test? This is about my granddaughter Lindsay. Now Lindsay, 15, female, has it rough being middle child and she looks different from her siblings. I truly was confused how she had blonde curly hair while the rest of the family has dark hair. I thought genetics was being weird and I love her. The issue came up when Lindsay told me her parents banned her from getting an ancestry test. I told my son and Dil that there was something fishy around her birth she needs to know. They denied it and told me to leave it alone. Now Lindsay is in high school and she went to her biology teacher. To put it bluntly, the teacher said it was odd for her to have some traits. She came to me distressed asking me to buy an DNA test and she needs to know. Long story short, she is not her mother's kid. My son got someone else pregnant and her bio mom gave her up. This has blown up the family. Oh, Lindsay is pissed to being lied to. I am getting a ton of heat for getting her a DNA test. Now they won't talk to me, which is making Lindsay even more mad at them. Edit. Because I have answered this multiple times. They were on the other side of the country when she was born and I met Lindsay when she was about 6 months old. Really not hard to hide the whole thing. Edit 2. I am confused why a lot of Redditors are treating this like she is 5 and not 15. All I did was buy it. She did all the paperwork and shipped it. It's not hard. Am I the asshole for telling my wife to return it all? My pregnant wife, 26, female, and I, 35, male, are really struggling at the moment as I lost my job and my wife had to quit her job as she's suffering from hyperemesis gravidarum. We've used up our savings and currently are living off our credit cards, but I've got a job line starting in March. My wife is very close to her sister, 31, female, and a few days ago she confided in her that we are struggling. Her sister has never liked me, but has always been polite to me. She has always kept me at arm's length despite my attempts at trying to foster a warmer relationship. A few days ago my sister-in-law came to visit while I was away and she was appalled at the state of the house and the lack of baby supplies, as the baby room was bare bones and we hadn't bought many baby things. When I arrived back home, she had given me a lecture on taking better care of her sister and scolded me for not getting ready for the baby. The next day she came back, and she had bought things for the house and the baby. My wife also told her that we had to sell her car to pay off some bills and rent. Again, my sil had to show off and she bought her a car, and to top it all off, on Sunday she sent her $50K and then texted her this. This is your money and your baby's. Do not use it on that man. If you need more, tell me and I'll send more. And remember, wherever I am there's a home for you. I feel like her sister trying to make me look like a failure and I expressed that to my wife. My wife and I argue, and in a fit of anger my wife said that I only feel like a failure because I've been failing. She has apologized since, but I still stand by telling her to return everything, as I feel like accepting her sister's so-called generosity is a way to manipulate my wife into thinking I'm bad husband. Edit. Okay, I get it, I'm the asshole. I'll apologize to my wife and sister-in-law. It hurt, but thank you for the brutal feedback. Am I the asshole for deliberately misunderstanding my child's father? So I had a baby some weeks ago with my partner, to whom I'm not married. We've been together a while, and I've given many compromises in this relationship. While discussing baby's name, we had a few disagreements on names, but ultimately decided on a name we both liked well enough. The surname was a sticking point. He wanted the baby to have his name alone. I offered to hyphenate because logistically, it's easier for the baby to have both of our names. He's been drinking the red pill Kool-Aid lately, a large bone of contention in this relationship, and went off about how it's tradition and the right thing to do and his right as a man to have the baby have his surname. He told me I'd be emasculating him and may as well be a single parent if I won't grant him this one little ass. My word is final. Baby's having one surname. This was late in my pregnancy and I didn't have it in to fight, so I told him that I understood what he was saying. Fast forward to 3 weeks ago, when baby's birth certificate came. He blew a gasket when he saw that I'd given the baby my surname. He rehashed the conversation above, saying I agreed to giving baby his surname. This is where I might be the ass. I did nothing of the sort. I told him I understood him, which I did, but I never said I agreed with him. I told him there was no way I was doing all the work of making a baby for him to stick his name on it. When we brought up tradition, I told him it's also traditional for him to marry me before having a baby, but he was happy to ignore that. I told him it was traditional for him to be the provider, but I do that too. And I pointed out other holes in his logic. I told him trying to bully me into submission with his red pill BS, why I was exhausted from pregnancy didn't work. He should have known better than to expect me to not share a surname with my child. He said the baby should only have one surname. They do. So why's he mad? He went crying to his brothers and mother, all traditionalists and misogynists, and now they're all up in arms. Edit. There seems to be some confusion. We are not married or engaged. I don't believe in it, and he's never seen the point of bringing the state into your relationship, so we agreed to never marry. He's on the birth certificate as the father. Baby just has my last name but father is listed. I'll be asking him to come for a talk so I can plainly address the issues you guys have helped me see. Thank you for that. Am I the asshole for not letting someone switch seats mid-flight? My wife 36 female and I 30 for male were flying back from Dublin to Washington, D.C. We were assigned the middle and window seats in a row. The aisle passenger no-showed, so we ended up having the entire route to ourselves. Huge win. Before leaving the gate, I moved to the aisle seat and my wife stayed at the window. Nothing eventful happened for the first 4.5 hours of the flight. FAS were amazing and even gave us extra drinks for the guy in the middle. Randomly, the passenger from the aisle seat across from me comes over with her friend who was sitting a few rows back and announces that her friend would now be taking the middle seat to get away from and crying baby further back. She did not ask. She told us this was happening. There were about 3 hours of flight time remaining. I asked the woman whether the flight attendants are on board with this. She said yes. But since these deals are usually brokered by the FA, I called over EFA. The FA said the agreement was that they could take an available aisle seat, but could not disrupt anyone's seating arrangements. The woman then starts bitching about how I was assigned the middle but then moved to the aisle before takeoff, so I shouldn't even have that aisle seat. I had been sitting there for almost 5 hours and we had already distributed our items all over the row. The woman and her friend disappeared to talk to another FA for about 5 minutes. The woman across the aisle then comes back to her seat and proceeds to yell at me saying that her friend would not be sitting there. Not because she was not allowed to, but because I was so incredibly rude and that I was a fucking asshole. I kept my eyes on the show I was watching. The only thing I did this entire time was ask to talk to the flight attendant. I did not say anything else to this woman, though I would have liked to. Am I the asshole for not volunteering the middle seat mid-flight? Am I the asshole for saying I'm entitled to food my parents buy? I'm going to keep this short. I'm in college and living with my parents. My parents had an OPS baby. My sister is only 4. They can't afford childcare, so instead of getting a part-time job to help out, I take care of her when they're at work. We got into an argument because they haven't gone grocery shopping and we're running low on food. They used the last of the bread for themselves tonight, and when I brought up what I would eat, we got into an argument. They told me I'm grown and it's not their responsibility to feed me anymore. I told them that's BS. And I'm entitled to food because I'm taking care of their kid. They're now calling me an entitled brat and saying, if I don't fix my attitude, they'll kick me out. I told them go ahead because then they'll be homeless because they can't afford childcare even with both of them working. My relatives are telling me I'm in the wrong because I'm an adult and need to grow up. So am I the asshole? Am I the asshole for refusing to hand kids dinner plate? I moved south so my husband can be close to his family and the cost of living is cheaper. IWFH. And he works full-time as well. Occasionally, the older kids 15 and 21 will come over and stay. When I cook, I will let them know the food is ready and to come and eat. I let them fix their plate and decide what and how much they want. My husband said I should be fixing their plate and bringing it to them. I said no, I don't mind fixing the plate, but I'm not gonna serve dinner to their room or living room. They can get up and come get their food. Besides, we have a no eating in the bedroom rule anyway. He said they are kids. That's how things are done in the South. My response was that they are not little kids or guests and they are old enough to fix their plate or come and get their food. I will fix and bring his plate cause he works and pays the bills. I have an older son in his 20s and since he was a teen, I stopped fixing his plate and let him decide what or how much he wanted to eat. He didn't talk to me the rest of the day. The issue is over with and we discussed and I agreed that I have no problem making dinner plates, but I'm not a waitress. It has been on my mind if I'm right or wrong. Please leave your comments down below to any of today's stories. Please like and subscribe. Thanks for watching.